Mr. Petriçek, welcome.
Thank you very much.
A wave of skepticism prevails in the Western Balkans following the European Council's decision to delay the start of membership talks with North Macedonia and Albania. What is the Czech Republic's position on the EU enlargement?
My country has supported enlargement process as one of the key policies of the European Union, and we have been supportive to all Western Balkan countries in their aspiration to become members of the European Union. I personally consider the decision of October General Affairs Council and European Council as a failure, and for us it's important now to ensure our partners in the Balkans that we would like to work with them, that the process is still credible. We need to do our internal part, but for us it's important that the European Union meet also its part of the deal, its commitment to Western Balkan countries. And both Albania and North Macedonia have achieved a lot of progress over the past years, and we should also encourage them to continue and make the role of the European Union in the region credible.
You called it a failure. What could be its consequences?
We are in contact with both countries. We believe that the progress should continue, that both countries should continue in the reforms. At the same time, there is also part of activity vis-à-vis our partners in the European Union to explain them that enlargement process, enlargement policy is something that should bring stability and security to the region that is already now surrounded by the EU member states.
How do you see the idea of a special partnership between the Western Balkans countries and the European Union rather than their full EU membership?
For Czech Republic, there needs to be credible perspective of membership. We believe that the process of integration is based on merit, but there needs to be a strong commitment on our side that as soon as these countries meet all the conditions for the membership, they should be allowed in.
Mm-hmm. Many have called on the EU to speed up the enlargement process to protect the Balkans from negative Russian influence. How do you see Russia's involvement in the region?
For us, it's important that the EU remains a credible partner for Western Balkan countries. We are a partner that not only has ambition to provide stability to the region, but also economic and social prosperity to people living in the region. And we have discussed with, during my visits to, for example, North Macedonia, we have discussed the concerns about possible influence of actors that are not supporting democracy, freedoms and rule of law in the region.
How do you view the growing wave of pro-Russian sentiment in countries like Serbia or also in part of Bosnia like Republika Srpska?
We have communicated with our partners in all countries to ensure them, to guarantee them that the enlargement process is not here because of us, but it's mainly because of positive changes for the people living in these countries. And we should probably more actively communicate also with the public in the region that the reforms we ask for will create better business environment, will strengthen the democratic institutions, and will make the life of people better in general.
And how do you see your country's current relations with Russia?
We are trying for correct relationship with Russia. We are members of the European Union and we respect our current common approach, especially after the annexation of Crimea and the conflict in eastern Ukraine. We have put in place a sanction regime and we haven't changed the position since because there hasn't been any positive change on the Russian side as well.
Mr. Petriçek, Czech President Miloš Zeman promised to push for the Czech Republic to withdraw its recognition of Kosovo. Are you and your colleagues in the government considering this?
No. Czech government hasn't changed its position. We have recognized Kosovo in 2008 as an independent state, and we are trying to develop a correct and positive relationship with Kosovo. We are supporting all countries in the region to become members of the European Union because it is in the interest of the European stability and security, but also it is a way how to solve many of the local problems, many of the regional tensions. At the same time, we are supporting also the dialogue between Belgrade and Pristina to overcome the past and to look how they can live together in united Europe.
But in addition of disagreements between the Czech government and the president on the Kosovo issue, there are disagreements within the Czech government itself. You disagreed with Interior Minister Jan Hamáček on whether to support Kosovo's effort to become a member of Interpol. What is driving all these divisions?
We are supporting Kosovo's ambition to become a member of many of the international organizations. We have discussed it with the Ministry of Interior, and we have presented the arguments in favor, especially when it comes to fighting organized crime. We believe that Interpol plays an important role. It was Kosovo that at the end withdrew the application for becoming a member, but we would like to work with Kosovo authorities to improve the situation when it comes to crime, fighting organized networks of criminals, because this is also in interest of safety in our region.
Will you watch the football game between Kosovo and Czechia next week?
I'll try. I have to admit that I haven't seen the last match, and I hope that we will do better now.
Yeah, let's go back to dialogue. You mentioned it, so Kosovo and Serbia are expected to continue dialogue on normalizing relations. The United States has already 2 envoys for this process. The European Union is also expected to appoint its own. That's a lot of diplomatic efforts. How do you see this process? Can Kosovo and Serbia make peace?
I believe and I hope that we will see a progress in a dialogue in upcoming months. On the side of the European Union, we are now waiting for appointment of new representatives of EU, new Commission and High Representative, and Joseph Borrell, who was successful in the hearing in the European Parliament, already declared that Serbian-Kosovo dialogue belongs to his priorities. And I can only say that the Czech Republic supports the role of EU as a broker in this mediator in this process. We have discussed with partners on both sides that we expect them to avoid any steps that might jeopardize this dialogue, be it the restrictive measures taken by the Kosovan authorities or the lack of willingness to communicate on their side.
Borrell comes from Spain, and Spain is one of the 5 EU countries that don't recognize Kosovo as a state. Can this change something?
Joseph Borrell will represent European Union, not Spain. And as he has been very open and vocal, he said that this is his priority. But I believe that there is a role also for member states. We have member states that recognize Kosovo. We have a couple of member states that haven't recognized Kosovo, but it doesn't prevent us from developing good relations with both Pristina and Belgrade.